Welcome back, dear students. In the last lecture we are studied up to the cohesion of the stamen. So there are three types of cohesion that has been seen in the stamen. One is the Adelphi, second one is the Syngeny, and third one is the Synandry. So in Adelphi we can found that the filaments are united and anthers are free. In Syngeny, anthers are united and filaments are free, while in Synandry complete cohesion of both filament and stamen has been seen. So such condition we call it as the synandrous condition, where there is a complete cohesion of stamens along with the filament and anther. So this is the example of cucurbita, where the cohesion of filament as well as the cohesion of anther has been seen. So such condition it is called as the synandry. Next to this is the adhesion. So adhesion is the fusion between the members of two different wholes of a flower. So wholes of the flower that we knows, that is calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. The individual members are sepals, petals, tepals, stamens and carpels. Okay, so here we are going to study the fusion or union between the members of two different wholes of a flower. Stamens may be fused with either sepals, petals, tepals and carpels. When stamens are fused with the petals, the condition is known as epipetalous. So here epipetalous condition has been seen in this diagram. For example, in Datura, these stamens are fused with the petals. So such condition is called as the epipetalous condition. So this type of adhesion of stamens is common in gamopetalous corolla, for example Datura. So in Datura, as you know that the corolla is gamopetalous, the form of the corolla is infundibuliform, where the stamens has been attached to the corolla or the petals. So such condition is called as the epipetalous condition. When the stamens are fused with the petals, the condition is known as epipetalous. Okay, so this is the photograph of epipetalous condition, where the stamens get fused with the petals. So that is found in the Datura. Next, so this is the epiphylous condition. So in this condition, stamens are fused with the tepals. So tepals, as you know that these are the member of perianth. For example, in case of polyanthus, where the stamens has been attached to the perianth, that is the tepals. Because in polyanthus there is no differentiation between calyx and corolla, so there is a presence of a perianth. So the stamens in this case are fused with the tepals, for example polyanthus. So this is the diagram of the polyanthus, where you can see the stamens has been attached to the tepals, that is the perianth. So this condition is called as epiphylous condition. So here this is the photograph of polyanthus, where we know that there are 6 tepals arranged in 2 rows, 3 outer, 3 inner. So the estivation is the imbricate alternate. Here in this case the stamens was found to be attached to the tepals, so that condition is called as epiphylous, because there is a tepals, so the word we use is the phylous. In the previous slide we studied that the stamens are attached, it is fused with the petals, so we use the word epipetalous. Here is the epiphylous, because the stamens are attached to the or fused with the tepals. Next thing is the gynandrous condition. So this is the adhesion between androecium and gynoecium, is known as the gynandry, and the condition is the gynandrous. So due to the fusion of androecium and gynoecium, a composite structure has been formed, is known as the gynostagium. So this structure it is called as the gynostagium. There is a fusion or the adhesion between androecium and gynoecium. For example, in Calotropis, here we can see this fusion of androecium and gynoecium. That structure it is called as the gynostagium. So here, as you know that the staminal corona has been found in the Calotropis a horn-like appendages or horny appendages that was found to be attached with the connective. So such corona, such structure we call it as the staminal corona. Here the anthers get fused with the stigma. So this is the adhesion. The anthers that has been found to be in the form of a sacs known as the pollinia. So here adhesion between androecium and gynoecium is found in the Calotropis. So due to this it forms a composite structure called as the gynostagium. So this is the gynostagium where there is a fusion of androecium and gynoecium. Okay, so androecium, one of the part that we called as the anther, stigma is the part of gynoecium. So this is the adhesion between androecium and gynoecium. It form a composite structure called as gynostagium. So this is the picture of the Calotropis flower. Here we can find these black dots where the anthers has been attached to the, or it has been fused to the stigma. So such a composite structure, gynostagium, has been formed here. Here these black dots we found here the pollinia. Okay, so this is the pentangular stigma to which the anthers, stamens that get attached, that get attached to the pentagonal stigma. Okay, so here in Calotropis, anthers are represented by a special balloon shaped structure known as the pollinia. So these are the pollinia. It is a balloon like structure. So instead of the a typical anther that we seen in the previous slides, where in Calotropis the anthers are represented by a special balloon like structure, balloon shaped structure known as the pollinia. These pollinia are fused with the pentagonal stigma at the corners to form a structure known as the gynostagium. So in this slide also we found that this pollinia was found to be attached at the corner of the pentagonal stigma. So it forms a composite structure called as the gynostagium. These pollinia are fused with the pentagonal stigma at the corners to form a composite structure known as the gynostagium. So in this condition, ovary and style are free from the stamen. Okay, here only the adhesion has been seen between the pollinia and the stigma. So ovary and style, these are the parts of the gynoecium, they are free from the stamen. Here only the pollinia, here the anthers are represented by a special balloon shaped structure that we know as the pollinia. So these anthers are fused with the stigma only, while ovary and style are free from the stamens. Okay, so here we found that this is the pentagonal stigma at the corner. This black color dot, these are nothing but the pollinia. So this pollinia has been present at the 5 corner because the stigma is pentagonal. So we get the 5 pollinia at each corner. So the pollinia are nothing but the anthers, because in Calotropis anthers are represented by a special balloon shaped structure known as the pollinia. So this pollinia was found to be fused with the pentagonal stigma at each corner. So it forms a structure gynostagium. So this structure it is called as the gynostagium, for example Calotropis. Okay, so this is the gynandrous condition. So in this way we finish the third floral hole, that is the androecium. Now we are going to start the fourth one, essential hole of the flower, that we called as the gynoecium. It is the female reproductive part of the flower, gynoecium, while the androecium is the male reproductive part. Gynoecium is the second essential or necessary hole of a flower. So there are 2 essential or necessary holes found in the flower. One is the androecium, another one is the gynoecium. Androecium is the male reproductive organ, while gynoecium is the female reproductive organ or hole that has been found in the flower. It is the innermost hole and centrally seated on the thalamus. So here we can see in this diagram the gynoecium that has been found at the innermost position, which are seated on the thalamus. So this is the thalamus on which this gynoecium has been situated, it has been seated. It is the female reproductive hole. It is known as the pistil. It is also called as the carpel. It is composed of one or more carpels or megasporophiles. So it is made up of carpels or megasporophyll. So individual member of the gynoecium that we called as the carpels. The gynoecium is made up of stigma, style and ovary. While the carpels, these are the megasporophylls that has been produced inside the ovary. Now the parts of a carpel. A typical carpel has three parts: stigma, style and ovary. Okay, so these are the three parts of the carpel: stigma, style and ovary. So one by one we are going to study the parts of a carpel. So first one is the ovary, which is the basal swollen part of a carpel, is known as the ovary, which is seated on the thalamus. So ovary is hollow and enclosed in a ovarian cavity. Ovary may consist of only one chamber or it may be divided into two or more chambers. So these chambers we can see after taking the TS of the ovary. So this ovary may encloses only one chamber or it may be divided into two or more chamber. These chambers are called as locules. Okay, so ovary is described as, if it contain single chamber, it is unilocular. If it have two chambers, means the locules bilocular. Two multilocular. The partition walls separate the locules by the formation of a septa or septum. Okay, so the partition walls that has been present between the locules, they can separate these locules into various numbers like 2, 3, 4. So this is because of this partition wall, which is known as the septa. It produces fertile tissue called as the placenta. One to many ovules are developed on the placenta. The ovary may be superior, inferior or half superior. So this is the position of the ovary with respect to the other floral parts. If the ovary is situated above the calyx and corolla, then it is the superior ovary. If the ovary is present below the level of calyx and corolla on the thalamus, that is the inferior. And if all the floral holes are at the same position, so such condition is the half superior. So here the carpel has been divided into three parts: stigma, style and ovary. We are studying the ovary. So ovary is the basal swollen part of a carpel. So this portion, whole portion, it is called as the ovary. Ovary may consist of only one chamber, so such ovary is unilocular. It may be divided into two to more chambers. These chambers are called as the locules. So on the basis of which we can describe ovary as unilocular ovary, bilocular to multilocular. These locules, these partitions are formed by the formation of a septa or septum. So the fertile tissue called as the placenta that has been produced in the ovary. One to many ovules are developed on the placenta. The ovary may be superior, inferior or half superior. So these are the ovary. Next to this is the style. So style is the, like the filament of the anther, it is a slender stalk like part of a carpel that we call it as a style. It may be long or short. The style connects the ovary with the stigma. So here the carpel consists of stigma, style and ovary. So style is the connection between stigma and ovary. It is a slender stalk like part of a carpel. In maize the style is very long and slender. So that is the found in the maize where these are the style. So the style is very long in maize. Okay. So this is the photograph of maize. Here we can see this style which is very long. So in maize style is very long and slender. So slender stalk like part of a carpel that we call it as a style. It may be long or short. The style connect the stigma with the ovary. Okay. So this is about the style. In canna it is flat, colored and petaloid. So the style in canna indica, kardal, where it is colored and petaloid. So this is the photograph of style in canna. Here this is the ovary. This one is the style. So it is flat, colored, and petaloid. Petaloid means oid, like, petal, like the petal. So style in the Kyana, it is petaloid. It looks like the petal. It is flat and colored. Okay, so this is the some of the modifications or some differences that has been found in the different plant. In case of maize, the style is very long. Okay, so here we can see the style which is very long and slender, while in Kyana it is flat, colored, and petaloid. It looks like the petal. Next part is the stigma. So stigma is the receptive part of the style where the pollen grains has been landed. So this is the receptive part of the carpel where the pollen grains are landed during the process of pollination. So it is the receptive part of a style. It present terminally at the upper free end of the style. It is present terminally at the free end of the style. The stigma top is rough, papillose, or even hairy and somewhat sticky due to secretion on which pollen grains can be germinated. So this stigma, whose top surface is rough, even hairy, feathery, somewhat sticky due to secretion of substances. These are the stigmatic substances on which the pollen grains can be germinated. So this sticky nature of the stigma is for the attachment of the pollen grain that has been falls on the stigma during the process of pollination. So pollen grains get attached to this stigma because of this sticky secretion that has been made by the stigma itself. So this is for the landing of the pollen grain and to increase the chances of pollination. So pollen grains, after landing on the stigma, absorbing the stigmatic secretion and get germinate to produce the pollen tube. In Claytoria, stigma is terminal and simple. So this is the stigma which is terminal and simple stigma in the Claytoria. In hibiscus, stigma is composite. It forms the stigmatic lobes. So here we can see the stigmatic lobe. 7 stigmatic lobes we can see in this diagram. Here in hibiscus it is composite, while in Claytoria it is simple, a single stigma that we see in here. But in hibiscus the stigma is composite, that has been made up of the stigmatic lobes. So this is the photograph of the hibiscus stigma. Here we can see the stigmatic lobes. So in hibiscus the stigma is described as composite. Now the types of gynoecium. A gynoecium consists of carpels. A number of carpels in a gynoecium varies in different flowers and ranges from 1 to many. So this is the simple gynoecium that we seen in the Claytoria. Here is the simple gynoecium in P, where a number of carpels in a gynoecium varies in different flowers and ranges from 1 to many. So the number of carpels can be seen by taking the TS of the ovary. A gynoecium is described as simple gynoecium that we seen in the Claytoria, also in the P. When it consists of only one carpel, it is also known as monocarpellary gynoecium. For example, Claytoria. Okay, so this is a monocarpellary gynoecium where we can found the only one carpel. So such gynoecium is described as monocarpellary gynoecium. For example, P or Claytoria. Next, so this is the compound gynoecium. A gynoecium that consists of 2 or more carpels is known as compound or polycarpellary syncarpous gynoecium. So when the gynoecium consists of a single carpel, only one carpel, it is known as monocarpellary gynoecium or simple gynoecium. Simple because it possesses only one carpel. One carpel because of which it is monocarpellary. It is the gynoecium, so we use the monocarpellary gynoecium or simple gynoecium. Here compound gynoecium that consists of 2 or more carpels, so it is known as compound gynoecium or polycarpellary syncarpous gynoecium. A compound gynoecium may be described as because it possesses 2 or more carpels. So if they are 2, when 2 carpels are present, the compound gynoecium is bicarpellary. For example, Datura. When 3 carpels are present, the compound gynoecium is tricarpellary. For example, Euphorbia. When 5 carpels, then it is pentacarpellary. carpellary. For example, hibiscus. And lastly, if it possesses more than 5 carpels are known as polycarpellary. Okay, so these are the different types of the compound gynoecium based on the number of carpels. If there are 2 carpels, bicarpellary, 3 tricarpellary, pentacarpellary, polycarpellary. Polycarpellary has been characterized by when there are more than 5 carpels are present. For example, rose. So such compound gynoecium is a polycarpellary. The compound gynoecium is further divided into apocarpus and syncarpus. So what is this syncarpus and apocarpus condition? When carpels are free, we say it is apocarpus. They are separated free. Syncarpus, when the carpels are united, they are fused. So such condition is syncarpus. So this we can see in the detail. So first one is the apocarpus gynoecium. Carpels may remain completely free from each other. It is known as apocarpus. So these are the individual carpels we can see in the Michelia. So such condition we called it as apocarpus gynoecium, where the individual carpels, they are free from each other. They are remain completely free from each other. It is known as apocarpus. A compound gynoecium is said to be polycarpellary and apocarpus. There are many carpels. Here we can see the number of carpels. So it is a polycarpellary, more than 5 carpels. So we use the polycarpellary word here, and these carpels are free. So it is apocarpus. When the component carpels are free from each other. For example, Michelia. In Anonaceae, same condition has been seen, but the carpels are arranged on an elongated thalamus. So on an disc-like thalamus, these carpels get arranged, and these carpels are free from each other. They are completely free from each other. So the apocarpus, similar condition is also seen in the Anonaceae. Okay. While in Rosaceae, carpels are arranged on the bottom of a cup-shaped thalamus. So this is a cup-shaped thalamus where the individual carpels get arranged on this cup-shaped thalamus. Obviously, these are apocarpus, but here the ovary is deeply situated. It is the inferior ovary, the calyx corolla that are present above the ovary. So such condition is the inferior ovary. So in Rosaceae, the carpels are arranged on the bottom of a cup-shaped thalamus. So this is also apocarpus gynoecium. Okay. Now the syncarpus gynoecium. The condition in which the carpels are fused with each other, wholly or partially, is known as syncarpus. Here there are more than 1 carpels, they are fused with each other, wholly or partially, is known as syncarpus. So syncarpus gynoecium is much more common, and it involves union up to different degrees. In hibiscus, ovaries and style are united and stigma is free. So here we can see that this is the ovary, this is the style and the stigma. So stigma is free here, it produces stigmatic lobes, while ovary and style are united. Okay, so here when the carpels are united, are fused with each other, then it is called as syncarpus. In Vinca and Calotropis, 2 ovaries are free and styles are united at the stigma. Ovaries are free and styles are united at the stigma. So these are the ovaries which are free, style is also free, but the stigma are united. So united at the stigma, styles are united at the stigma, ovaries are free. Okay, so this is the some of the different thing that was found in the Vinca and Calotropis. But in hibiscus, ovary and styles are united, stigma is free. While in Vinca and Calotropis, the 2 ovaries, here it represented by bicarpellary ovary, but these ovaries are free, styles are united at the stigma. So this is about the syncarpus gynoecium. Okay, so next points remain are sutures and placentation and the different types of placentation. So these points we will see in the next lecture. Okay, so here we can stop now. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe.